Hey love, I'm Michelle from the Soul Translator and as well the Empowered Empath Soul Camp and soon to be, so exciting, the Sensate Soul. Alright, so if we don't know each other yet, I work as a spiritual medium and intuitive business and life coach and consultant, and my passion is as well working with empaths and spiritual sensitive solo entrepreneurs. So today, in this video, we're going to be talking about empaths' upbringing and emotional contagion. I want to link this to a little bit of a different skew on things that maybe you have never heard before, but I totally believe this, and I see it in my work, and I also see it in my own experience. So, all right, so the thing with empaths are those, if you are new to the idea of empaths, or if you were newly discovered that you are an empath, empaths are those who have the ability and heightened sensitivities to be able to sense, feel, and understand and get, shall we say, information downloads by approximation, by a symbiosis with other people as well as with animals and frequencies of plants and the earth itself. And there's many different levels of empaths, but the essence of empathy, of being an empath, is to be able to feel the emotions and inner worlds and inner states and frequencies of the unconscious and frequencies of the field of others within your own system, so that it is sometimes hard to distinguish what is yours and what is other people's. So it's a heightened sensitivity to the emotional inner world and subconscious inner world of others, of other beings and other fields of frequency. Okay, so I want to talk about empaths and this emotional contagion, and also how this then relates to a sense of PTSD. And at the end of this video, I will give a couple tips for you to be able to take care of yourself, as well as be more aware of when things might be shifting in you. And also, this is really great information for anybody who knows an empath, or if you're raising an empath, or you're in love with an empath, and you just want to, be able to relate to them in a more loving and compassionate kind of way. So I'm going to do my best to share this because I think it's a very new, it might feel like a very new concept to you, but I know when I had this realization where it was just like, the forehead slap, it was that moment where it was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Of course, that explains so much. And, I've shared this with my clients, and it makes so much sense to them as well. All right, so I'll stop talking about it and tell you what it is. So there can be this idea that you need to have really bad things happen to you to justify PTSD, or to justify kind of like you've had a bad lot in life, and that makes it so that you can explain or justify some of your, your negative beliefs, or timidness towards life, or fears and anxieties, and so on and so forth. I think the best way to be able to explain this, as you can tell, I'm like trying not to step on anybody's toes by saying this, because I worked in psychology. I know PTSD is a very real thing. And one thing that a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of empaths and sensitives are walking around the world with a lot of PTSD within their nervous system, with a lot of that heightened, overstimulated and incredibly pinprick nervous systems. Let's talk about emotional contagion. Emotional contagion is, in essence, when you're getting around a bunch of people and you were in kind of a crappy mood, and then you went out and you were around a lot of people who were just living it up and having fun, or just lighting it up, and all of a sudden you found that your mood has shifted. Or the opposite, you were feeling actually really good, and then you walked into a room and all of a sudden, it's like a complete buzzkill, and you're feeling, anxious, or you're feeling like, the sense of foreboding, or something is just feeling off, and you're just uncomfortable in your skin, and you don't know what the hell happened. You don't know what switched. So people who are non-empaths can often feel this as well, because emotional contagion is not just for for empaths. We all do it. It's actually a form of bonding. Humans, people, we all have the capacity to have this emotional contagion. It's also the stuff that describes, explains underneath why, there's also a cognitive side to this, but it also explains why sometimes people will get into like mass hysteria, or people will, the rally up behind, somebody who has a charismatic, very convincing, manipulative type of personality, and then can get all these people believing the same thing underneath them. There's a certain amount of emotional, merging, okay? So, but empaths and sensitives have this emotional contagion, like to the 9th, 11th, and 200th degree. It's almost as if we have secondhand emotions, like we pick them up like secondhand smoke. We already are very wired and open to sense and feel the emotions and feelings of others. That's what makes an empath. And so we're much more susceptible to this emotional contagion. That's why it's so important to choose who you're around. Okay, but let me not get off track here. Now, what does this have to do with PTSD? And why am I making that comparison? So often, empaths can have a bit of this, reputation of being, introverts, being reclusive, of being hypersensitive, overly sensitive, not so comfortable in their skin. There can be those, and many more, type of kind of judgments, or, just kind of like the reputation of. And a lot of empaths will identify with that and just be like, yep, check, 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 yep, that's me. And there's nothing wrong with being introverted, reclusive, all those things. What I want to propose here, and for you to, just kind of roll around this idea and see if this, fits for you, is that a lot of empaths have like a PTSD type of response to a lot of things in life, whether or not really bad things happened to us. So sometimes a lot of people can feel like they're really like, something's wrong with me. I don't understand what's going on. I haven't really had, these, bad things, kind of the classics of, being abuse and violence and so on and so forth. But I still feel like, it's really hard to be me in the world. And I've got all these inner things going on in me, and these, these feelings of not being safe. And I can't justify it because nothing's really bad has happened to me. And so for a lot of empaths, it's simply being an empath means that you have been picking up, feeling, sensing, transmuting unconsciously the feelings and emotions, and also the experiences and the emotions that go with those experiences, that you've been experiencing that like the secondhand smoke. And so sometimes when people say, I don't understand why you're so sensitive, it can simply be because you have been, getting an accumulation of energetic residue of emotional, unprocessed things from your family, from your work, from the day, from life around you. And it can feel almost as if you have, this PTSD, which is, by the way, post-traumatic stress disorder. But you can have this heightened sensitivity and reactions to life when you can't necessarily say, oh, well, this happened, so that's why I am reacting this way. So this is something to consider. And, just try this on. I have seen this over and over in my own life and also in the people and the clients that I work with. And it can often be as well kind of like a way that we discredit ourselves or deny ourselves because we think we're like just overreacting to things, or you know, or there's some sort of judgment, so that you can not give yourself such a hard time when things feel like you're taking things too personally, or you're overly sensitive, or somebody is telling you that, or you're being judged for it. Think about the times and the people and the experiences that you have had in your life. And also, please don't underestimate your empathic responses to life and people around you, and how, you know, especially if you have been, you know, unaware of being an empath, and you are waking up to this and you realize that so much of your, you know, the sense of self that you have, or the way that you know, maybe are hard on yourself or critical to yourself, is really like a lot of that can be put into check, and to see really like maybe you've been carrying around so much from others. Maybe your nervous system and your emotional system has been flooded with the energies and the emotions around you, and that it really is now your responsibility, because with more awareness comes, you know, more empowerment to be able to release some of this buildup, and to also get more in touch with who you are, and to have good boundaries so that you're not taking on as many energies, and having that self-understanding and that discernment to be able to do that. So I'm going to have some more videos on this idea. And please know, I am not making any sort of excuses for empaths and sensitives, saying, oh, well, you know, we've just been sucking up everything around us, and that's the reason why we have, you know, problems with ourselves, or with the world, or with others. I'm not saying that, because there's definitely a lot of things that have legitimately happened that can create a certain amount of wariness, and also issues on the, you know, inside, and that we have to work through, and beliefs and mindsets that we have to clear out, so that we can truly be our most empowered self, and be, you know, be who we need to be and who we are in our lives. But sometimes for some of us, we can feel like, I don't get it. Why am I so sensitive? Why do I feel like, you know, I have certain issues inside that, you know, that I'm having to deal with on a daily basis, or mindsets or beliefs that are holding me back, or, you know, just a timidness or anxieties or fears. But I don't necessarily, I can't say, well, this happened then that would explain this, you know, this traumatic thing happened, that would explain why I'm, you know, have these things. And of course, yes, we do need to look and do the inner work and find out what some of the, you know, origin story is. But I want you also to consider this idea, and maybe let yourself off the hook a little bit, that by the very nature of being an empath, your emotional contagion for the world and others, and in your upbringing, you know, has been, volume has been turned up. You know, that heightened sensitivity has an incredible capacity for gifts and connection and empathy and intimacy and empowerment in your life. And it also can, if it has not been cleared out and worked with, it can also feel like you know, you've been affected by the world around you, and those around you didn't even maybe know it, and then have been carrying around all of this emotional and energetic residue, and you have a hypersensitivity also to what's going on in the world around you. So it can feel like, you know, you've got almost a hyper-vigilant system that maybe sometimes you can't say, well, it's because of this happened, or maybe it's because of that happened. It's because you are an empath who has been picking up on the emotional contagion of the world around you for a long time. And it takes some time to shed that stuff and to get really back into your center. And that is the journey, that is the process, and learning and going into ever and ever deeper levels of who you are, and of your strengths and of your talents and your gifts and into your soul's essence. And then being the most empowered empath and sensitive and spiritual entrepreneur, if you choose to do that, that you can possibly be. So I want to just end here with 3 very quick tips that you can use when you feel like your emotional contagion or your empathic contagion has been built up and you just need to hit the release valve. The first thing is, and anybody can do this, and I do this like almost on a daily basis sometimes, depending on what's going on in my life or in the world, taking an Epsom salt bath or an Epsom salt foot bath and putting in little essential oils in there. There's the magnesium, the charge of the magnesium that is in Epsom salt is incredible for clearing out the emotional and energetic fields in the subtle and energetic bodies. It is really a wonderful neutralizer. So that is great, really. If you can do that on a daily basis, 10 minutes in a foot bath or in a bath, or at least just once a week, and imagine, that you are just clearing everything out, and when you unplug that water in the drain or you throw out the water in the foot bath, you bless it and you say, I'm clear, all good. So the other one is being in nature. This is in just a simple way to reconnect to yourself. Being around trees, sitting on the grass, putting your bare feet into the earth as you walk is a super neutralizer as well for helping you get reconnected to your natural polarities. All right, and then a simple third one is a 5 to 10 minute meditation, and really seeing as if you are sitting in a tube of light, a channel of light, whatever color you want it to be, and breathing into it. Just, you can put your hands on your lower belly and just hold and let your breath, like a billowing cloud, just letting it open, or a curtain, letting it open and close, and really imagining yourself almost like you're in this universal cyclone washer, is how I see it sometimes, where it's like, it's just cleansing. It's like I'm at the car wash. I'm having an energy field car wash of myself, and it's just scrubbing out all of the old energies, and I just see, that brush of light just going through my entire subtle fields and energetic fields and through my body and going down and then just melting into the earth, and that clearing out anything that is of anybody else's, and so that I can feel more pure and neutralized within my own energy bodies. All right, thanks so much for listening. Again, if you find this video and the things that I'm sharing here useful, please do like it, and as well subscribe to my channel or put a comment in. I do love to have conversations and comments with those who choose to say things on videos, or if you happen to be seeing this on Facebook or on social media. Okay, thanks so much. Talk to you soon, and so much love.